have is a water-resistant, plastic-made, feature-packed device. Samsung's focus on the Samsung Galaxy S5 was to add a whole bunch of features that people actually wanted or didn't even want and stick them in and then sell the device. And it came out pretty good. So it has a lot of cool things only exclusive to the device that the iPhone 6 doesn't have, and probably the most notable, of course, is the water resistance. From that selective focus to multitasking, true multitasking with several windows, it's a great device. Now, Apple's approach with the iPhone 6 is to take everything they've learned from the older devices and keep improving and simplifying it. And it's made a very great experience with the iPhone 6. You know, the words I would use to describe this phone is simple, elegant, and everything just works. So let's get into the details. The iPhone 6 comes in three colors: gold, silver, and space gray. The S5 comes in black, white, blue, and copper. These devices couldn't be more different when it comes to build material. One is made out of a solid piece of aluminum that's drilled out, whereas the other is molded from plastic. When you feel these devices in your hand, the iPhone 6 definitely feels like it has more quality to it. It really feels like an expensive device. Whereas the Galaxy S5, of course, it's made of plastic, so it's not going to have as much of a premium feel to it as the iPhone 6. The dimensions of the Galaxy S5 are definitely bigger, so it is a larger device. It is heavier as well. The iPhone 6, of course, it doesn't have to fit in a smaller screen, but it is a smaller device and it's lighter. It's 129 grams versus 145 of the Galaxy S5. The displays are both great. They're just made from a different technology. The S5 has a 5.1-inch 1920 by 1080p Super AMOLED display with a 432 pixel density. The iPhone 6 has a 4.7-inch 1334 by 750 resolution with a 326 pixel density. It's an IPS display, completely different from a Super AMOLED, and it's important to understand the difference between these displays. The Super AMOLED represents black colors very well. It just looks very vibrant and it's very efficient. The IPS display has really good viewing angles. It's pretty much an old technology, but it just looks great. So here is the very exact same photo displayed on both displays. Brightness has been turned up all the way, and as you guys can see, is very bright and a little overexposed on the Galaxy S5 on the bottom. The iPhone 6 has more true-to-life colors. They're not as vibrant, but they're definitely true to life. They both look great. I mean, no complaints here. Outdoor usage is a different story though. So both of these devices have the displays turned up all the way, and this is in direct sunlight. I found both of them to be unusable. Now the Galaxy S5 is supposedly supposed to have a better display in sunlight, but I personally couldn't tell a difference. They were both unusable, and it was just really hard to see things. Now it gets interesting at the cameras. The Galaxy S5 has a 16 megapixel sensor, and it's capable of 4K at 30 frames per second. The iPhone 6 has more features: 8 megapixel sensor, same aperture as the Galaxy S5, capable of 1080p at 60 frames per second, but it has 240 frames per second slow motion, and as I'm going to show you, it's quite amazing. It also has True Tone Flash, which is dual LEDs, and it has focus pixels for ultimate, really fast focus. So this is the comparison of 1080p at 60 frames per second between the Galaxy S5 and the iPhone 6. Can you guess which one is which? The Galaxy S5 is the one on the left, and it's very obvious that it does overexpose its images. As you can see, the one on the right is the one that's more true to life. I actually compared it to the actual color of the flower, and the iPhone 6 definitely wins hands down in terms of true to life color. So the color is definitely a little more natural and lifelike on the iPhone 6. And take note, this is exactly the same distance recording from the subject, so the iPhone 6 does zoom in just a little bit more than the Galaxy S5 by default. The aperture is exactly the same on both devices, so low light should be good. Now where the iPhone 6 shines is focus. It has this new technology called focus pixels, so focusing is just instantaneous and it's very sharp. The slow motion on the iPhone 6 is simply incredible. You'll find yourself filming things and seeing just how much cooler they look in 240 frames per second slow motion. When it comes to battery, the Galaxy S5 has a killer feature, and that's a removable and upgradable battery. The battery on the Galaxy S5 is at 2800 mAh, whereas the iPhone 6 one is 1810. Battery life on the Galaxy S5 is about 35% better. Both of these devices have great battery life, but the S5 just has that little bit extra. On paper, the Galaxy S5 simply blows the iPhone 6 out of the water when it comes to processing power. However, I think you guys will be so surprised when we actually run a Geekbench and determine real-life usage between these devices, which device comes first. Just remember, iPhone is very well optimized, even though numbers may be lower. Okay, so I've already downloaded Geekbench on both devices, and let's go ahead and run it and see how these devices actually stack up when we're not just looking at specs.